GTV for unity and development.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوكل إليه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Brothers and sisters, this is SHEIKH JUMA BAKHIT CUCU again with the episode on matters of education. Today I'm going to talk about two issues. One, the issue of education, learning and practicing. Learning and practicing. Al-ilm wal-amal. If you separate these two, ilm wal-amal, then there is a problem. And this is why we are saying this is because our schools are doing more. In our curriculum, we do more of the ilm, of the teaching, and very little about amal. We take the whole of the child's time, the duration that they are in, the long duration we are taking it only in teaching. And when children come out, then we expect them now to act according to their teaching when they are out of school. And this is very, very wrong. That's why we get problems these days in our schools. But before this, let us first of all come back to this issue. What is the meaning of amalus salihah? Amalus salihah. Amalus salihah comes from information. Once somebody gets information, that is the knowledge that we have. After getting the knowledge, then amalus salihah takes place. Now, we don't know what you are teaching in a class, but what we want is how is this child behaving after coming from class is very important. Now, you can't see this as a teacher, but it is the community that sees this child, that this child is educated. Now, the child is not going to teach people, but is going to behave the way he is taught. That is the most important thing. So, what is amalus salihah? The concept of amalus salihah is one of the most important and the most frequent concept in Quran that refers to the high quality of human action in comparison to other good actions. Although the word is in the Quran describing good action have similarities with each other, each one has its unique and distinctive meaning. Now, what is the amal salihah then in the Quran? According to the scholars, the Quran has used amal salihah with respect to a work which is rational and thoughtful one. Amal is correlated with the word ilm. It goes together. You don't have ilm, you cannot behave well. Unless you get the ilm, then you use the ilm now to behave according to the ilm. So, sometimes al-amalu salihah, sometimes it's called fi'il. But fi'il is something general. But amal has something to do with the discipline the child has undertaken. The meaning of amalu salihah, of course now, of salih itself, is good, righteous, safe, flawless, righteous, virtuous, intact, and a good person. So here, let me tell you what Sayyidina Umar refers to when he talks about the reciters of the Quran. Today we have so many people who are hafidhul Quran. They can recite for you the Quran from Surah Al-Fatiha all along to Surah An-Nas. These people are now there, alhamdulillah, we have them. We call them Hufadh, Hafidhul Quran. But what did Sayyidina Umar talk about it? Sayyidina Umar says that do not be fooled by one who recites the Quran. Can you imagine? Do not be fooled by someone who recites the Quran. His recitation is just a speech. But look at those who act according to the Quran. So this was the thing he was talking about. Don't be fooled by someone who recites very nice Quran, nice voice, the Hakamu Tajweed is very good. Yes, this is what he has learned. We are now talking about what lesson does he get? Do we get? How do we know he is educated by his action? Can he be able to translate this into action? Is very, very important. Now, he says, fear somebody who is the owner of the Quran in his actions. When he acts according to the Quran, then you know that yes, this is the person. Now, there is a hadith from Abi Huraira. No, an Abdurrahman qala. Abdurrahman, it is a hadith from Abdurrahman. Now, Abdurrahman says, an Abdurrahman kanu يعني الصحابة يقرؤون من رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم 10 آيات فلا يأخذون في العشر الأخرى أو في العشر الآخر حتى يعلم ما في هذه من العلم والعمل قالوا فعلمنا العلم والعمل. Now here the Sahaba is saying that they used to recite. He reported that the companions would learn and recite 10 verses from the Holy Quran. They would not take another 10 verses until they understood the knowledge and the deeds they contained. They would say, we learned sacred knowledge and action together. Masnad of Ahmad in the chapter, the verse is 22,971. Here we are getting that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a teacher. We know this. And we say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam qudwatuna. He is our qudwa, which means he is our role model. Now, how was he teaching? What was his curriculum? Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would teach his Sahabas 10 verses. Then he would tell these Sahabas, first, before we teach you another 10 verses, you have to recite, you have to memorize this one, then put in action. Try to get a lesson from this for your daily lives. Once they learn this and they finish, then they go to the second one. So it is both learning, theory and practical. Theory and practical. Ilm wal amal. Ilm wal amal. Now in our curriculum, unfortunately, ours is just ilm for 6 years, 7 years in primary. Another ilm for 3 years in idadi. Another ilm for another 3 years in thanawi. Then the child goes to the university. Ilm. Then when he finishes the ilm, then he's left to do the amal. And that is where we get problems. We cannot do something better than the Prophet Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to do things according to how Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, and that's how he was doing it. Today, in 3 years, a child has memorized the whole Quran, and he has not memorized it. He has not translated anything into an action that people can see. Children have a lot of education, but less work. Lot of knowledge, but less work. Less discipline. Less hope for the future. Every one of them want to teach Islam. Once they come from school, everybody is a teacher. Zendi mwalimu, zendi sheka. Oli sheka. Wasomea waaze na soma yeyo. I studied in Bugembe. I studied in Bilali. I'm sheikh. Now everybody wants to teach what he was taught, but nobody wants Islam to teach him. It is him now going to teach Islam to people, but Islam teaches you nothing. Now this is our problem that we need to solve. You can see now some people are capable of memorizing 30 juzus of Quran, but cannot practice 10 ayahs they have memorized. Now, this is a setback. We must go back to our drawing table and see how we teach our children. Now, today, you can see every graduate of madrasa prepares to preach in mosques. And now majority are now in media. You know something little, now you want to expose it, now you go to media only to preach. You are a sheikh. And you are preaching, you don't have a vision, you don't have a mission, you don't have an objective, you don't care whether this teaching of yours is going to change people or is going to destroy people, you don't care, you go ahead to do it because you are a teacher. Why are they doing so? We don't blame these sheikhs. We have not prepared the sheikhs. You see, you can go and study law in Makerere University. It doesn't mean that once you have finished studying Makerere and you are a lawyer, you have a degree in law, that you can now go and practice law. No. You need to go again to a place, LDC, Law Development Center. Now, we need our children to be developed, to be prepared, and to know if you are saying something that comes out of your mouth, exactly what do you want to change in the society. Those are the things we want to see the children do. So, one, we need to change our method of teaching. We need to change our technique of teaching and transmitting knowledge. We need to change so many things. Even our practice, I mean our teaching aid also need to change. Our teaching aid need to change. The methods of teaching need to change. And the practicals need to be done. Children need to be given practicals. They should know and understand. Critical thinking is very important. So, today we have much knowledge but less morals and less skills. The Sahabas used to say, Inna su'ab alayna, kana su'ab alayna hifdhul Quran, wa sahal alayna amalu bihi, wa inna min ba'dina yasahal alayhim hifdhul Quran wa yas'ab alayhim amalu bihi, al-amalu bihi. Can you see now? He says, for them they used to have problems in reciting or in memorizing the Quran. But it was easy for them to act according to the Quran. But now there are others now today, it is easy to learn the Quran, but very difficult to practice the Quran. There was a story of a young boy who completed his education. He was now, every time he is called for occasions, sometimes in the mosque or on Juma days, he would recite the Quran with a very nice voice of Tajweed, the voice of Abdul Samad. When the boy begins to recite, everybody people in the whole congregation would break into tears to cry, and they would love him so much. But one day, the mother came to the mosque and to meet the Qadhi. So when he met the Qadhi had to ask her, who are you? He says, I am the mother of this boy called Abdurrahman. Oh, it was so good for the Qadhi to see the mother of Abdurrahman, because this is the mother who produced this wonderful child who has read the Quran very well. So he said, mother, you are really blessed with this boy. This boy is a very good reciter of the Quran. The mother said, I have not come because of that. I came here to accuse this boy for the behavior. Here, for the behavior, the bad behavior he has. It's a bad behavior. That yes, this boy yesterday shouted at me and even slapped me. Then The Qadi was shocked. The Qadi said, okay, if that is the case, he's soon coming. You first stay in the visitor's room. So she was kept somewhere until Abdurrahman came. When Abdurrahman came, Sheikh told Abdurrahman, I feel that you should recite for me surah from Surah Al-Isra'i, ayah that talks about parents, walidain. Then he prepared himself now to recite the Quran, to recite that ayah. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّكَ وَإِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ أَحَدَهُمْ أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فلا تقل لهما أف وقل لهما قولا كريما واحفظ لهما جناح ذل. And he was reciting that verse in a very good way. I don't have that voice that he was reciting the Quran with. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Allah has decreed that you should not worship anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And should be kind to your parents. And when he recited, after finishing the recitation, then the Qadi said, can you call for me my visitor? When the visitor was called, it was the mother. He was so much ashamed and let his head down. Then he said, your mother came here accusing you of slapping her. And it is the very you who was reciting the Quran. Why did you do that? So the boy was accused of beating the mother, but this is the boy who is the good reciter, the best reciter of the Quran. You can imagine. So those are the things that we are talking about. That when you are teaching, you should also teach the translation. I don't mean the translation of Quran into Luganda, translation of Quran into English. No, I mean the translation of the theories into practice. That is the most important thing that my brothers and sisters, we should be able to do when we are in our madrasas. There is too much preaching the words of Allah and too much breaching of the laws of Allah. That is the problem. On this side, there is a lot of teaching, but there is this side, a lot of breaching of the laws of Allah. This is not right. I hope we shall be able to change that. Now, we should be able to teach children to that critical thinking. When somebody is giving you a message in the Quran about a story of a prophet, a story of someone, when you are listening to these stories, a child who is in the class should be different from that person who is listening to khutbah. Because even those who are listening to khutbah, they are supposed to listen carefully and then translate that. What does it mean to me as a person? How is it going to help me? Because Quran, by the way, is called the book of Hidayah, which means it is the book of guidance. Now, this mwalimu teaches something else and he does not believe in what he teaches because he does not know. He is only to teach. His work is to teach. Now, this mwalimu one time was teaching about the importance of the word Bismillah. He says when somebody comes and says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this word is so important that even on water, the person can be able to walk without even sinking. Now, by the time he was teaching this under a tree, there was a fisherman who came and was resting also under the tree because he was going on his way fishing. He heard of that word because for him, he doesn't have a boat. He would just hire boats from people. And he didn't know where to get money to buy his own boat. Just like the boda bodas here. There are many boda bodas who don't have the money for boda. They are only given, they are hired this boda boda. You use it in the day, in the evening you can divide now what the the profit with the owner of the vehicle. So when he heard that there is a way you can even use Bismillah and you can even enter into the water without sinking, he believed in that thing very strongly. He translated now it into action. He immediately went to the waters and he got into the water and started saying Bismillah and walking on the water. And indeed, he walked without sinking. He went in the middle of the water and he started going there to do what? He started to fish. Though he got the fish, he came back. After coming back, he felt that, today my Mwalimu has taught me something. I think I need to pay, I need to give Mwalimu some gift. So whenever he takes home the fish, he would leave one in the home of Mwalimu. When Mwalimu comes there, he would find that there is a fish. He said, where did you get this fish, my woman? He said, no, this one is brought by your student. He said, you are a student, you taught him, and he's living every day here. So the man said, maybe this one is a boyfriend of my wife. Let me wait for this man. When actually I'm his teacher, I will find out. One day, he hid himself to wait for the man. Then the man came. When the man came, he immediately saw the man with the fish, that I've brought for my teacher a fish. Then he arrested this man. He said, you are the one who is spoiling my wife. Then the man had to explain and explained and explained. The man said, you mean you can walk on the water using the word Bismillah? He said, but it is you who taught me. Why are you again saying this? Oh, this man said, is it possible? Okay. The next day, he himself decided to go and see whether what he said was right. He himself, he went. But because he's saying it with a lot of doubt. He's saying, hey, but is it true? Let me try. Okay, Bismillah. When he made this Bismillah without yaqeen, without that ikhlas niyyah, he found himself, he jumped into the water and he was drowning until people came and got him out of the water. He was almost dying. So while he was resting, his eye fell on that very man. Then he said, let me see if this man was telling me, the man wanted to kill me and take my wife. That could be the reason why this man made me to fall into the water. So now, the man came, he said, Bismillah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and he started walking. And he walked properly into the water and he got his fish and came out. Then the man said, you see, we were only taught that Bismillah can do this, but we have never practiced it at all. Now this man is practicing it and he's getting it right. So you see, ilmu wal amal, we should practice what, you see, Aisha was they asked Aisha, how was the behavior of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He said his behavior was the Quran. His behavior was Quran. This verse, this statement here, many people mistake it. They think the behavior is Quran. It means that he has memorized the whole Quran. So people memorize the Quran and they think that is the behavior, that Muhammad's behavior is to memorize Quran. No, Muhammad's behavior, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his behavior is to act according to the Quran. That is the meaning. And our children should act according to the Quran. We should teach our children life skills and attach to their roles the role model, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as role model. There is a practice of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we need to impart in our people when you're in madrasa. We have to ask this question: where is the tolerance of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our children? Is it there? Where is the patience of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam seen in our children? Where is the love of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we can see in our children when they are in madrasa? Where is the kindness of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam seen in our children when they are leaving madrasa? Because it is what the parents have paid for. Parents are paying a lot of money, and that is what they want to see in their children. Where is the courage of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we want to see in our children? When they are coming out of that, we want to see all this. You see, today is a big problem. You see, one parent can take care of 10 children, but 10 children cannot take care of even one parent. Can you see this? This is a big problem. The parents suffer paying fees. After they have suffered paying the fees, they again, when the child is out, they are now suffering to pay bills of bailing out their children out of remands, out of police safe custodies. Sometimes they pay even greater than that when children are being arrested, taken to police. Sometimes they are killed. You see, you used your money, you took children to madrasa, but when they come from madrasa, they again a problem. You find them fighting in the mosque, they find them abusing one another, you find them doing all this. Now you wonder whether this was the reason why you took your child to school, to madrasa, to study. Where is the financial literacy that we copied from Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you know why Khadija loved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Khadija loved him because he is a very good trader, and whenever he goes for his trade, he is very trustworthy. He doesn't do any corruption. His profits are so big that he hands it over to that lady, and that is the reason why Khadija loved him. Where is that? How can we impart this kind of trade behavior, that behavior? How can we impart it into our children? That is what is called Kudwa, the finance literacy. Can we organize a program that, besides just teaching children Quran, can we also teach them business, finances, how to save, how to invest, how to become financially independent? Can we be able to do that? Because Islam came to this country through trade. That's what we say. Islam came through trade. And is trade something bad? Trade is good. Why don't you teach now our children trade that came with Islam? Now they are running away from trade. They are now our children are busy in abuse, in fight, this sheikh fighting the other sheikh. Was that how Islam came? If Islam came through trade, trade is something good. Our children are going to school and to universities. They do business studies and they get a bachelor's degree in that. So where is the problem with the business? Business is good. Let's teach our children also business. Prophet Isa alayhi salam was a doctor. He used to heal people. Prophet Dawood alayhi salam used to make this time it is called a bulletproof. He would make those armories from iron. Allah made iron to be soft for him so that he can do something practical for his what? To earn a living. Musa alayhi salam was a shepherd. You remember Musa went and worked under Sayyidina Shu'aib alayhi salam, and he was earning his living through that flock, through taking care of that. You understand? Yusuf alayhi salam was an agriculturalist. You remember when the king dreamt and he was able to tell the king the dream that you dreamt means that there will be 7 years of rainfall. The weather will be good, but after that there will be 7 years of famine. So let us go to agriculture. Let us go and then he was made the minister of agriculture at that time. Why can't we teach our children with this? These are the things. This is the meaning of translation. You think translation just means to understand the Arabic sentence into another language, into Luganda? No. Translation is transmitting, changing, converting theories into practice. Ilmu wal amal. Ilmu wal amal. Adam alayhi salam was also an agriculturist. He was an engineer. He was a farmer. And where is this from our people, children who have studied Quran? Idris alayhi salam was the first man who started to make a needle that can join clothes. So that is fashion and designing. Where are we? Where are our children in that area? Nabi Nuh alayhi salam was a carpenter and a shipman and a man of marine. He deals with the aquatic things. These are the things that we want to see our children having. And then others, like engineer, like an architect, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, with his son Ismail, they are the ones who build the Kaaba. Up to now, people are going to Kaaba. This is a building of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. We need builders. So, brothers and sisters, every graduate of madrasa today, all our graduates of madrasa do two things very, very importantly to them. It is because it's what they know. What else can they do? One, to start up a school. I see most of them, after finishing their A-level, after finishing their Thanawi, they will come and tell you, Sheikh, I've started a school. I want you to give me to register my school. That's all they can do. Why do you want the school? The reason is only one, so that he earns a living. These children can come there and he can collect the small fees from the children and earn a living. But is that what we want? There is something we need from the teaching of these children which is bigger than what he is talking about. You understand? So we need to help these people. When they come out, they should come up with the skills. They should come up with the skills that teaching is not bad. Having a school is not bad. But not all of you should be in one thing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Others should go to business. Others should be IT experts. Other people should be in the leadership. Others should be in the police. Others should be in the army. Others should be managers in the banks. Now we have what is called the bank, Islamic banking is coming. So we need to move in some of the areas. Then others, after that, when they have no work, they will struggle to become an imam and to become a qadi. Now they use two ways. One way is through the normal procedures that they can take to become imam, alhamdulillah. But there is another way. When they fail this one, they have another one. Now it is the issue now of fitna. Now we say you begin to mobilize the maamumas around that omusajja ono wadde imam naye teyasoma bulungi. Omanyi nze nasomye bulungi nnyo. Nze nava Madina. Ndina degree ono talina. District card ono talina degree. It is me who can do better than him. Now you mobilize slowly without the district card knowing that there is a huge mobilization. And then only to come and see that now we don't want the district card. We don't want the district card. He has done the mobilization. But even if you come through that kind of thing, again there will be another sheikh who will also come and he wants the same position. You will also be removed the same way. Because I don't see that there is a way you can then, if you take that route and you sit there, because you are one of your sheikhs was chased away, and then you are installed as a district qadi. The same way, kamatadinu to done. The same way I've done to him is the same way that you will also be thrown out. So you have to be careful with these kind of things, and that shows us that we are not doing much in organizing a curriculum which will help our children. So, how do we want to raise our children in schools? One, we need to have a vision. We need to have a mission. We need to have objectives. And we need to see achievements. Those are the things that we have to do as leaders in our schools, in our madrasa schools. So, to see a peaceful, now what is the vision? What is our vision? It is a common vision. Don't say you are starting your school with your own vision. No. You have to start with school with a common vision that is required for a child, a Muslim child in Uganda. Our vision as Uganda Muslim Supreme Council for the madrasa is to see a peaceful and conflict-free Muslim community. A peaceful, that means that there is no conflict, but there is a development. We want to see that kind of cooperation, coordination, and assisting of one another for development, not for underdevelopment. You see, Because right now development becomes a problem when 5 Muslims are on the right hand side, 5 Muslims are on the left hand side, and between them is a rope that they pull. Now if this is what they will do, then there is no peace and there is no development. That is what you should be able to know. Or else, what we're saying here is, I have seen a clip where somebody has brought a wheelbarrow and he has a spade. He gets the sand from down and puts on the spade. But the other brother also has a spade and he gets the sand from the... Every time the other one puts a sand into the wheelbarrow, the other man takes away the same size of the sand from the wheelbarrow down. So this one adds, this one minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Time goes, they were all tired, they were all sweating, but there was no work done. You understand? So that is the... Supposing this one puts it in the wheelbarrow and the other one puts in the wheelbarrow. In a short time, the wheelbarrow is full and they would be pushing the wheelbarrow to where it's supposed to go. But because the other one is putting, the other one is removing. The other one is putting, the other one is removing. Now at the end, they are all tired and they sat down. Now this is the kind of situation we are having. And we are not fighting. Don't think people who are fighting are not sheikhs. These are all sheikhs fighting sheikhs. That is how we are. And where are we getting this behavior? From our school. Go back to the education. Don't go to the foundation. You forget the foundation and you think the problem... You know, the issue here is, if you don't know where the problem comes from, you will not solve it. You will not solve it. You leaders. You leaders become now the problem, and the problem becomes now the leader. Now the problem, then there's no solution. There will be no solution in this kind of situation. So, brothers and sisters, we have problem that we need to solve. And this problem cannot be solved by everybody. It should only be solved by leaders. And we are leaders, let's think about our curriculum. This idea of teaching, and there's no practice is not the right way. I discourage that one. Why I'm discouraging it? Because we have to do research. You know, these issues of not doing research is wrong. Let us be able to do research and find out where are these things coming from. Where is that heart coming from? Because Nabi Muhammad does not have this kind of a heart. Nabi Muhammad, he has the most cool, quiet, and very strategic in his movement. But we don't have this. Why? When we are talking about curriculum, what do we consider when developing a curriculum? But even before we go there, what is curriculum? A curriculum is an undertaking to allow students to discover, to build their knowledge, and to develop their learning and life skills. At the end, it should address the vision, the mission, and the objective of the community. That is curriculum. Curriculum is not changing the Quran. Some people, when they say we are changing the curriculum, they shout that the Quran Baji choose Caesar. No, it is not the issue of changing the Quran. Now, I was telling you about the curriculum of Nabi Muhammad. It's very different from ours. The Muhammad does not accept his Sahabas to memorize more than 10 surahs without putting it into practice. That was his curriculum. That was in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he has a reason for that. And you have seen how his community has been so organized people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so happy with them. And Allah says in the Quran, Muhammadur Rasulullah, indeed he has confirmed that Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ, and those people with Muhammad, the Sahabat al-Kiram, Ashidda'u al-Kufar, they used to be stronger than the unbelievers in that time. Why? Ruhamahu bainahum, they used to love one another. They used to help one another. They stay together with one another. Ruhamahu bainahum. Tarahum, you see these people, ruk'an sujjadan. They go for prayers together. When the adhan is done there, they all come together. They follow the instructions of the imam from the beginning, from the first takbirah to the end of the takbirah. And that one also is a translation. If that verse is translated to the life of the people, there is a lot to learn from that kind of thing. Why? Imam says, Allahu Akbar. All the Ma'mumas say it with one voice, Allahu Akbar. That means, one, that what the Imam says, people will follow. That is the symbol of Ta'ati al-Amir, the fear of. You see, we have a group of da'wah here, group of people. People don't bother about them so much, and they give them names like Abazikri Karenge, and people don't care about them so much. They say, when they see them moving from one mosque, they say, Muzunga Zunga, Muzigiti Munonyachi, Nibite Yakola. People give them, they undermine them. But let me tell you, these people, their teachings are the lowest teaching. The basics, they teach the basics. They teach children the fear of Allah. They teach children the behavior of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They only teach fadha'il a'mal. They teach children small things, and they don't only teach, but they also behave. I have been one time moving with them. When they are in the mosque, the Arabs, those white people, sleep with the blacks. That one gives confidence to these people that this one, what they are doing is also what they practice. When it comes to cooking, they get timetable for cooking, including even the Amir of that place. They also cook the same. That kind of behavior is so good. And they also teach you how you sleep. How do you sleep? How do you put your head? Which direction? Do you sleep with wudu or not? Then all of them practice the same. People go out, they have the wudu, they come and sleep when they have wudu. Don't eat before saying salam. And when you are before making bismillah. And when you are eat from your side. They wouldn't say it. They teach it first. Then when the food is brought, they practice what you can see. Then they teach how to sleep. After sleeping, when they are going to sleep, now they want to practice the way they taught. You can see this. And when they are walking on the road, they will tell people, move on the right hand side, put your head down when you are going to the mosque. And once they teach it, then they begin to walk. And you can see the way they teach things. You may call it a bad thing, you undermine them, but they are doing the right things. They are doing the right things. So, for that matter, I want to tell you, there are people you may not, you may undermine them, but they are doing the right thing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are people sometimes you praise them and say, yes, these are the people, but sometimes they are in the face of Allah, they are the undermined one. So Allah says, وَاذْكُرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاءِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. You should be with those people who you see making victory in the mosque. You will think that they have nothing to do, but those people are doing the right thing, because I've seen their products. Their products, they don't misbehave. They don't abuse people. Their behavior is somehow okay. What am I trying to say? What I'm saying here is, when you are teaching people, this teaching must be translated. If you don't translate these teachings will become useless and will become again dangerous to yourself. So let us work hard to see that we have some changes in curriculum, not changes in the Quran. So the setup should be in this form. Now, our curriculum, what do we consider when developing curriculum? When you're developing our curriculum, we are considering developing the brain of the children and developing the hearts of the children, and now using their hands and see if they can now use your hands and their legs to translate. What is being translated should be worked upon. Because if you don't cherish, you will perish. So you have to cherish these ideas so that you don't perish. Every story from the Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba should be accompanied by lessons learned from it. Every ayah of the Quran taught should also have some morals related to the teachers and the students. It should follow Blossom's, what we call the Bloom's taxonomy, at the learners as learners advance. They should have the 6 stages of Bloom's taxonomy. One is that when you are teaching the children, they should be able to remember what was taught. That's why the next day you come and recapitulate. What did we teach yesterday? Yes, we learned about Surah Al-Fatiha. How many verses? 7 verses. Can we read it? Then the children will read. When they read this one is called remembering, or you recall the facts and the basic concepts. And that is how Adam was taught. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Allah taught him all the names, and when he is told, can you now repeat what you are taught? Adam was able to repeat them very well, but the angels were not, because they were not taught. Then for them they say, Subhanaka. Allah, glory be to you for us. La ilma lana illa ma alamtana. We don't have ilm except the one you taught us with. That one is the first stage of knowledge is remembering, which is good. But now the second stage is now understanding. Have you understood? That means explaining ideas as it is. Can you explain? Have you understood what we are talking about? A child should be able to understand this. This is number. If they pass this, you go to the third stage. Can they apply the information in a new situation? Now this is where Kabil, you remember Kabil killed his brother Habil. When he killed his brother, he had no knowledge of how to bury. Now Allah did not come and tell him, pick a hole, dig and put the brother. No, it was just a knowledge from the bird. 2 crows came, they fought like he was fighting, and he was watching, he was observing. After fighting, the other one killed the other one. So when this one tried to push the brother here and there, he found that that crow can no longer walk, can no longer move, it is redundant. Then he had to go and dig a hole and then push the child, the brother, and they covered it. Now, this one means that the child got an information. Can he now translate it? He translated it into his situation. The other one was the situation of the bird. Now he said, oh, if that is the case, I think I can do the same. Using that knowledge, he buried his brother. You see that? That's why you see our education has a problem generally, because the Europeans tricked us and they moved us away from the really teaching methodology. You know, that one worked well for Kabil. But when Makkah was supposed to be destroyed using the elephants, Allah also says, وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِلْ تَرْمِيهِمْ بِهِجَارَةٍ مِنْ سِجِّيلٍ. That we sent birds coming with stones from there. Now, we have never translated that one into action, but the Europeans have done it. The white men have done it. Now, instead of using, they said, but we can make elephants, but now in form of APCs, in form of tanks that can also destroy a house. But what can destroy these tanks? Tayran Ababil. Now they made those the jet fighters. Now they can go and hit using those stones, and the stones today are now the missiles that you see. Tarmihim bihijarati. Very precise. They have precision methods. So can children translate this into another situation? This is what we should be thinking about when we are teaching our children with Bloom's taxonomy. level 3. Level 4 of Bloom's taxonomy is analysis. You draw connection among ideas. Can you connect ideas and come with something new? This one was used by Yaqub to challenge his children. When the children came and told him a lie that we were there with our brother, but when we left him around our sheep, we went somewhere, and then a wolf came and ate, the hyena came and ate the boy. Now he was reasoning. He said, now, how good is this hyena that can eat my child without even destroying the cloth? Because the cloth was not destroyed. He said, then this hyena is funny. The hyena even removed the shirt and then before he eats my child. You see, I think the hyena must be a human being. You see, it behaves like a human being. So that means that he was able to judge that, oh, this hyena should not be a really hyena. It should be a human being. I think this boy is killed my son, not an animal. Because animal would have torn these clothes. You understand? So that kind of evaluation. So analysis. Then evaluation, that is the ability to make correct judgment with our children. Then the other issue here, the last one, is innovation. Can a child now innovate something? Can he come with something, a creative something? Can he become an author of something new? Out of all the knowledge that he has come up with, can he come with something new? Those are the questions that we need our children to come out from that class we are teaching. Now, when that thing is missing, then children become liabilities. They don't become assets. Now, for us to make our children assets, we need to think about our system of education. Let us try to change. Let us sit down and redesign our curriculum. Let us sit down and think of what we can do in order to bring change. Change doesn't come from blue. And sometimes when some changes can take you back. If you cannot change yourself, some people who misunderstand you can come and make a forceful change. What will you do? They can make a forceful change. Authority can come and say, no. We are seeing that this is a problem. Madrasa is a problem to us. We need to close it. What will you do? You will shout, but that will not make sense. You understand? So it is better for us to wake up now and see problem in our issues. And by the way, Muslims, what makes us think that curriculum cannot be changed? What is that thing what is that in our mind that we think curriculums can't be changed? If the Iranians don't change their curriculum, would they be today facing all the problems like a man? You understand? Will they be facing that? They wouldn't. Now I see there is a change, a very big change in the curriculum in Malaysia. I was reading about Malaysian curriculum. They have really changed. So many things have changed. So for us, you either change now or the change will change you. So if you change by yourself, you will be in a good place. But if the change comes and changes you, then that is an issue. Let us have that idea of visionary. Let us have the vision. Because if you have no vision, then you will see nothing. If you see nothing, then you will do nothing. If you do nothing, you will change nothing. If you change nothing, you are actually nothing. And if you are nothing, you cannot go to Jannah, because Jannah is not for nothing. You have to do something for it. I want to thank you all. I remain yours, Sheikh Juma Bakhit CUCU, Secretary for Education, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
GTV for unity and development.